Hello guys, welcome to my stream. This is Gamer Dude, Tech Dude coming at you live. And welcome to my stream and happy Easter to my friends and my family out there and all my YouTubers. Before I get into my blog tonight, I would like to ask everyone to please hit the like and subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the bell notification icon and be sure to tell your friends about me so that they can come here and learn some ideas or thing or two. So the purpose of this part of the stream is I'm testing something out. One of the things that I have noticed is that a couple of my streams I've been receiving some popping and some crackling sounds, and I'm not the only one that's been hearing it. I heard it from a couple of other people that are in my channel. So we're trying out Prism right now, so let me know how this software is, and in the meantime I will have to check it out and find out as what the reasoning is for Streamlabs to be doing it. I'm sure it's a setting in there somewhere. So I'm sure that at some point, I'll figure it out. It was suggested by a couple of other streamers to set up the sound quality from 441 kHz up to 48. I did that today when I did a live stream, and unfortunately that did not do the job. So bear with me as I'm trying to fix these technical difficulties. I do like Streamlabs. I've used both of this and that software. Streamlabs I kind of like. It's just if I'm trying to figure out that one little slight difference with the, why it's why it's doing that. So if any of you know anything about something like that or have any suggestions, please let me know in the comments below, and hopefully I can fix that. So anyways, I hope all of you are having a wonderful, happy Easter. And it's just about over with. Sadness, I know. I was really happy to do that live stream today. I did get a couple responses. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. And I also did a live stream the day before. So thank you to all the viewers, all my YouTubers, my followers. I really super appreciate it. And please, please let the other, share the stream out. Let people know that I'm out there, and so I get recognized. So, let's see, what's on my mind? Basically, this is just a basic talk show blog. Anything tech goes. I just thought I would give this a little bit of a test run and to see if we have any crackling or any popping sounds. So let's jump right into it, shall we? So I was reading an article today on technology, and our President of the United States, Joe Biden, says that we have crappy internet. Our internet's very slow. It's not up to par. It's this and that, and he's pouring a lot of like $100 billion to upgrade our networks and get our system recognized and get it out there and get it up to par, get it up to speed. What are your thoughts on that? I would like you to leave me some comments down below, how you feel about that. I am about to make my comments on that, remark of what he wants to do with the technology, and please bear with me when I do make these comments. They're my own opinions, and please voice your opinions as well, and we'll see where this goes. So what are my thoughts on that? Well, that's kind of like blowing a bunch of hot air. I mean, let's face it, our internet, it's not just the United States. It's in the third world countries. It's everywhere in the world. It's not perfect. A lot of the reason is it has to do with the wires, the network itself, the infrastructure. I mean, let's face it. It is a mess somewhat, but I wouldn't say that it's terribly bad. It is what it is, and to be honest with you, I'm quite surprised the internet works as good as it does, to be honest with you. Now, I have Spectrum. For the most part, they aren't perfect, but it works. And you know, I could safely say that you know, it works pretty well. I mean, considering that, you know, they're down for maintenance and stuff, but that's understandable. But I do like the fact that they're one of the few companies that actually responds to their you know, to their customers out there and lets them know that there's maintenance going on. So I do give credit for that. But our internet is not perfect by a long shot. To me, that we're in 2021, you know, we really should have wireless, to be honest with you. And wireless should be just as good as LAN or wired connections. But it isn't quite yet. Do I think at some time, point in time, it will be? Maybe. It's just not yet. To be honest with you, I think these kinks and all these different technologies and stuff, they should have been worked out a long time ago. But again, it is what it is, and there are so many different internet. There's so many different kind of different internets. You know, you got DSL, which I don't even know if it exists anymore. You got cable. You've got satellite. You got all these different, and you got fiber, and you got all these different types of internet that you can get. The problem being is that it's the infrastructure. The infrastructure has not really been built to provide everybody in the entire planet or in the United States itself with reliable internet. And I would have to say that part of the problem is of course the costs. Many of you may not realize it, but it costs a lot of money to run a fiber line. A lot. It's not cheap. And you have all these different technologies. For an example, you've got cable and you got satellite or DSL. Now, DSL is an old technology. It was probably the very first that came out from dial-up. It was really the change of the internet, and the problem with that is you're going through copper wire, and copper wire is the oldest technology that's out there, and that's how you get your telephone service. So that's the first problem. That's the very first problem. The second problem is cable companies that are running their lines along the side of this copper wire, which we all know that creates big interference of somewhat and can cause many different problems. We know that. So that's part of the problem. And again, that's your infrastructure. So you have to understand that in order to get fiber to work along with the copper and fiber do not work with each other. It creates a lot of interference. That's why I can't get fiber across the street, where I'm at, as opposed with my neighbors across the street. They can get it. A lot of it has to do with because of the copper wire that's being ran alongside the when they tried to do fiber, because fiber and copper do not get along. There's a huge, what they call noise interference. It's just, even if they could, you wouldn't even get the speeds, because it just kills your data. So that's a lot of the problem. And a lot of the telephone companies are having this thing where it's going to cost them billions of dollars to restructure the entire network and go total fiber. It's going to cost the telephone companies a lot of money to get rid of POTS lines. That's what they are. And quite frankly, I understand it, and I get that. And like I said, the cost is unbelievable. It's probably in the billions. So the company has to actually get rid of all the telephone lines, all the POTS lines, and then go total fiber. And then and the problem with that is you're dealing with all the businesses that are in your area that use POTS lines for like older technology, being fax machines and whatever else they need them for. So that becomes issue number 2. And then issue number 3 is the cable companies actually creating business packages that are comparable to what businesses are paying for today, having it over POTS lines. So that's what we're dealing with right now. It's not 100% yet. Give it time. I'm sure it will go 100% at some point. I just think that it's going to be a very, very long process. And a lot of it has to do with the businesses. It's not just residential. It's mainly the businesses. Because the businesses, they rely on old school technology, unfortunately, because let's face it, some of the old school technology is better than the new technology. For an example, fax machines. So this is one of those things that are kind of, it's between a rock and a hard place, because you could say, well, we're never going to see fast speeds through our phone company, and we're never going to see fast speeds through our cable company, and that's not it. A lot of the problem is because we're at the point where businesses are relying on 90% of their businesses being ran on POTS lines as opposed to fiber lines. Unless they're spending billions of dollars for having a T1 or T3 line, a peer data line coming in, which can be very expensive, and then running their entire office off of that data line. Otherwise, let's face it, they resort to telephone companies, because telephone companies are built for the old school technology. But then it begs the question, you have VoIP service, which is like the new telephone service. And there are problems with that. Like with VoIP, you can't reach out to 911. So if you have an emergency, you can't dial 911. It's pretty much like your cell phone service, more or less. So that's another issue. That's issue number 3. So there's a lot of what do you call it? There's a lot of stopping blocks along the way that they have to take care of before, reaching these new levels of technology. So by Biden saying that he wants to fix and pour $100 billion, I will guarantee you that's not even that's pennies to us. That's pennies to these companies. $100 billion is like giving practically nothing to these tech companies, because it's going to cost them billions of dollars for them to restructure their entire infrastructure for the internet for both mainly businesses, because businesses rely on the internet. Businesses use the internet for their e-commerce. So that's a very tough call for the government to even come out with, because you're saying basically you're going to fix the entire internet. And this is something you can't fix overnight. That's why we see these big tech companies like Google and some of the other big ones, Amazon, there are slowly getting better technology. They're slowly going over to the new technology. So it's going to be a very long process, people. It's not going to be something that's going to happen overnight. So by, President Biden saying that he's going to pour $100 billion into, fixing our internet, he's going to have to put a lot more into that. And I think he's going to have to actually sit down with a lot of these, tech, CEOs, and really sit down and really talk to them, because I don't think he really realizes the cost and what it's going to entitle all these companies, to do. And unfortunately, the cost is going to be passed to us consumers, because it's going to cost, these companies, cable companies and telephone companies, it's going to cost them billions of dollars. That's why, you ask yourself over in 2021, and how come, we're still using POTS lines? How come we still see telephone poles? Well, that's why. A lot of them, they don't want to spend the money on going over to the new technology. And of course it comes, with the demand of it too. That's what it really boils down to. How much of a demand is there in this particular area for people to want fiber or something that's faster? So that's issue number 4. So there's all these different stepping stones that we all have to go, or these tech companies have to go through in order to get faster internet. That's a lot of the problem. That's 90% of the problem right there. Now, I'm not gonna, lie and say, well, they should have thought about this a long time ago. They should have done something about it years ago. Yes, they probably should have. And of course, a lot of these companies like AT&T and Spectrum, they've been through so many change of hands and, businesses, different names. It's hard to, I'm not trying to make excuses up for the company, but it's hard to take over a company and then fixing everything all at once. Same with AT&T when AT&T bought out DirecTV. When AT&T bought out DirecTV, they just realized, well, hey, we can't fix DirecTV. So they decided to dump it and come out with their own streaming service. And again, it's because they would have to change their entire infrastructure, which is very, very costly. So that's why you have these business meetings. That's why you have these people that, hey, if it's going to cost us more than what the company is worth, it might just be better for us just to dump the project and then come up with our own idea or our own solutions. So that's a lot of the reason. So by Biden saying that he wants to fix the internet and make it better, good luck with that. I mean, I give him credit, but it's not going to be done. Something like that's not going to be done overnight, unfortunately. That's going to take a long time, and it's going to be a long haul. So that was one of my tech things that I wanted to talk about. Because let's face it, we all want gigabit service. I can go up to, like I said, I know I've said this before, I can go up to San Jose, California. Up Northern California. Way up north. And I can get fiber, 1 gig up and 1 gig down for like $60 a month. And this will give you a kind of an idea how the infrastructure works. Okay, so up Northern California, I can get 1 gigabit up and 1 gigabit down, which is plenty of speed to run a business. But down here in California, down where I live, which is in Southern California, I can get gigabit speeds, which will be a gigabit download, and that's from here to San Diego, because I checked into it. I can get 1 gig download, but my upload speed is only going to be, I believe, 40 megs a second. Not only that, we're talking $99 to $120 per month. And again, that's because we're dealing with the infrastructure problem that I was telling you guys about. So for a lot less money, if I lived up at, Northern California or, way up north, I can get 1 gig up and 1 gig down for $60 a month. Down here, it's going to cost me 3 times as much just for 1 gig down and 40 megabit upload. So, would it be cheaper if I moved up Northern California? Well, no. It's expensive in Northern California. In the tech capital of the world, Silicon Valley. It's expensive up there, man. So, you have to give up one to take the other. So, that's the problem. And Google, the way I see it in the future, Google can possibly be the only tech company down or up there that can bring fiber down here for us, Google Fiber. But let's be honest, it's going to cost them billions of dollars, which means they're going to need some kind of funding from, other various companies or other, businesses around to bring it down here to us. And then they have to look at it, is it really going to be worth it? That's another question. How many people are actually going to sign up for the fiber? Is it going to be something that we all want down here as opposed to up there? So is it going to be worth it for them to dig a trench all the way from Northern California over down here to Southern California and put fiber in? I don't know. And that might be a lot of the reason why, because, they have charts, they do these things, they do the math, that's why they have these big meetings. Can't say it all right. I can't talk right today. So, that's why they have these, business meetings and stuff, so that they discuss all this. Is it going to be worth it? Is it not going to be worth it? Is there going to be a huge demand for it, as opposed to Silicon Valley? Silicon Valley, they're always going to be having a demand for it, because that's where 95% of our technology comes from. So, that's where they have the chip manufacturers. That's where they make our graphics cards, computers, and motherboards, and all the stuff that we see out in the stores today. A lot of it comes from the Silicon Valley. So they need it up there. That's understandable. So that's another thing that's, being looked at. So this is one of the things that really I wanted to touch topic on, because I saw that article and I read it, and I was just like, well, I don't know how that's going to work, Mr. Biden, but I think it's going to end up costing the American people, and a lot of these businesses are going to have issues with that. So anyways, what do you guys think? Do you think that the government proposition in this, do you think it's going to fix our infrastructure? Do you think it's going to make matters worse? Do you think it's going to raise prices for the average consumer? What do you think? I'd like to know. Please leave your comments below. Let me know what you guys think. In the meantime, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and hit the bell notification icon so that when I go live, you'll be notified. So, now we got that out of my chest. But yeah, I wanted to touch bases on that because it was important to me, and everybody wants faster internet. And we should have faster internet. It's 2021. We should have faster internet. I did a segment about Elon Musk and Amazon's satellites they're putting into space. which I don't think is really going to go anywhere, at least not yet, because after the information I received from one of my friends, when he looked into it and I looked into it, and you know, I realized that it's not that great, and it's going to cost you hundreds of dollars for the equipment and stuff. But I did a separate segment about that, so be sure to check it out. So what is the answer for having faster internet? Well, what I think, and this is just kind of throwing this out there, what I think that should happen is all these companies get together, all of them, and more or less pitch in and build a better infrastructure. I think that right there would fix a lot of our problems and be the solution to our problems. I think these big tech giants like Google, Facebook, Microsoft, and a lot of your other big tech companies, I really think they all need to pitch in and build a better infrastructure. I think that'll be the answer. I think that needs to happen, because I don't think it's going to be one company or one corporate giant that's going to be able to fix the entire internet. It's just going to cost too much money. So I think that if Biden wants to do anything, get these companies together, have a sit down, have a meeting with all the big tech giants, and come up with a solution. I think that right there will fix the problem. At least, I hope. So that's my thoughts on that. Other than that, let me know what you think. Again, what kind of internet do you have? Are you happy with your internet? Would you like to see faster internet? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Okay, so what else is in the news? Let's see. I'm trying to think what else is in the technology scene out there. The i9s. I've been reading a lot of, or hearing a lot of information about the i9 processor, or is known as the Intel, the 10th generation i9. Somebody was doing an article about how the Intel is making these processors faster somehow, but this person did an article about how it wasn't really so fast. And I kind of disagree with that, because every time I see an AMD or an Intel chip, it's always faster. I mean, let's face it, they're both competitive. They're both competing against each other. One chip manufacturer wants to be faster than the other. Now, I will say that today's software, and this goes with anything, even graphics cards, a lot of the software that we see today is not even built for the new hardware, meaning to take full advantage of the RTX cards, taking full advantage of the Intel chips, the Intel CPU. So a part of that's true, and while the part of that's true, we're going to start seeing a lot of these companies start making software and games that are going to be compatible with not only the GPU but the CPU. So that's a lot of the problem. A lot of the problem is coming from people that are expecting, they're spending like $3,000 to $4,000 building a brand new PC that has an i9 with a GTX 3080, and they don't realize that even though that the hardware is brand new, doesn't necessarily mean that the software is compatible or brand new as well. It's going to take the game companies and the software companies time for them to build, better software or better games. That's what it comes down to. So you can't really blame the chip companies, and you can't really blame the gaming companies like NVIDIA and AMD or you can't blame them for games not working properly with the new technology, because it's not just them. It's going to take these game companies and software developers some time for them to rewrite the code that is going to be compatible with the new CPUs and the new GPU generations. So keep that in mind, people. It's not just the GPU, it's not just the CPU, it's more so the software and gaming companies. They have to rewrite the program, the code, to work with the new CPU and GPU generation. So keep that in mind. Don't base it on, well, hey, I have a brand new $4,000 computer with a brand new 3080 graphics card with an i9 processor, but I'm only seeing i5 or i7 performance. So, and you're not going to see it at least for a while. And it's they have. I mean, you don't realize it takes these companies quite some time for them to come out with new software, new updates that are going to use all the different instructions to utilize the GPU and CPU power. So keep that in mind, people. It's not just the chip manufacturers, it's the software companies. So give them time. Your PC is going to be future proof, so keep that in mind too, that the rest of us will have to play catch up, but you have a nice computer and just give it time. You're going to probably get 6 or 7 years out of that PC before you will need to buy a new one. So keep that in mind. Don't get discouraged because you bought all this new technology and it's not working to 100%. Try not to get discouraged yourself, because eventually it's all going to change, man. It's all going to change eventually at some point. So keep that in mind. So now that I touch bases both the internet and CPU, GPU technology, and what else is in the mix? Gaming news. For all you gamers out there, Battlefield 6. What do you guys think? There's been a rumor going around. I've read a lot of stuff about it. They're talking about having Battle Royale and all this and that. I really don't know how the Battle Royale is going to work with the new Battlefield 6. I think they should just stick with the original concept of Battlefield. Battlefield has always been kind of open world war fighting game. I think Battle Royale should be for the Apex, Call of Duty, Warzone, and let's see, what's the other one? Battlegrounds. I think that those should remain Battle Royale. I don't think that gamers are really going to get into Battlefield Battle Royale, especially when they join a conquest map. That's pretty much already Battle Royale, let's face it. 64 players, 32 versus 32 players on PC. It's like total all-out war already with jets and planes and tanks and stuff. So I could be wrong. I could be wrong here, but I just don't see Battle Royale taking off as much as it does with the other competition that's out there. I think that DICE EA should stick with what Battlefield was originally made for, and I think they should stick with that. I still, to this day, think one of the best Battlefield games. You can disagree or agree with me. I still think that the best Battlefield game out there was Battlefield 2, hands down, all because of the different concepts of fighting in that. It's as old as it is, but the technology and the gameplay was excellent. How many of you agree with me with that? Leave the comments below. There was nothing. One of my favorite things about Battlefield 2 is the fact I was able to be a commander, and I could drop artillery strikes on different locations. I can drop supplies, and I can drop vehicles. That was kind of taken out in the other Battlefield series. I got kind of disappointed. That was like one of my best things about Battlefield 2. And not to mention all the different gun unlocks. It really... Excuse me a second. So it really, you know, it broke my heart when they took that stuff out of the other Battlefield games. Because Battlefield 2 was state of the art back then. It really was. I still like Battlefield. Don't get me wrong. Like Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 2, 3, and 4. So, I've always liked Battlefield. Battlefield's one of my favorite games. It's just I don't think Battle Royale's really going to fit into Battlefield 6 too well, especially when you already have Conquest. So, let me know what you guys think about that. You know, when you already have Conquest, that's huge, gigantic maps with tanks, jeeps, Humvees, jets, helicopters. How much more can you get? And we already have that in Warzone. Call of Duty Warzone has, what is it? The big battle one where you have tanks and stuff like that in it. So, you know, where do we stand on that? I really don't think we're really going to benefit from Battlefield 6 when we already have Conquest. And the only thing that I could see would be more players on the map. A lot more players. So it'd be like a Conquest on steroids. It'd be like a massive, 200 versus 200 or 100 versus 100 people on the map. Whoa, could you imagine that? Just think about that for a second. Think about Conquest on a huge map with 150 to 200 players, just going all out with helicopters and jets and jeeps and you name it. Like I said, think of it as Conquest on steroids. It's crazy, man. So, I mean, wow. I just not thought about that. Holy cow. So what are you guys' thoughts on that? I mean, do you think that, you know, that they're going to make that push on that? Do you think they're going to benefit from that? Or do you think they're, you know, they're not going to do so well? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I'm not sure when it's due out. I think it's due out sometime this year. So we still have time. I mean, I can't wait to see the first trailer. So, I mean, I think we have, what's that, the game convention coming up. What's it called? Oh, the E3 game, the E3 stuff. You know, so it's going to be interesting to see if we're going to see that. Hopefully we do. You know, with all that C-19, you know, the COVID crisis and everything, the pandemic. So we're going to see the E3 out this year. So I'll be looking forward to seeing the trailers for the new Battlefield 6. So that should be interesting. That's like one of the big gaming news right now. And the other gaming news is the huge Burning Crusade out for World of Warcraft. I guess it's doing quite well. A lot of people have turned to that. I like the fact that Blizzard is slowly bringing back the classic gameplay from the expansions. I really like that idea. Also in the Blizzard news, another thing that kind of irritates me, as well as other gamers, is Blizzard is canceling a lot of the game time. I guess you can only buy, 60 or 120 minutes game time, I think. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back, okay? Give me 1 second here. All right, guys, sorry about that. So yeah, one of the things that I dislike, and I have to agree with a lot of the gamers, is the Blizzard's announcement of their taking away a lot of the game time game cards, and I think that's a really bad idea. And the reason being is because about 95% of the people out there don't have a subscription, and that might be Blizzard's move here is to kind of get everybody to move to a subscription, possibly. I don't know their reasoning behind it, but I will say that a lot of people are disagreeing with Blizzard's move on this. Will it hurt the company? I don't think so. I really don't. Maybe the newer gamers that are just coming on with WoW, but your diehard WoW gamers, I don't really think that's going to affect too much. But we'll see. I do think it's a bad idea. I wish Blizzard would rethink that. Blizzard, rethink that. Why take away the game time when I can no longer get, 30 days, and you're telling me I got to get 60 or 120? Come on. What's the point? I mean, are you trying to get everybody to move over to a subscription? Is that a possibility? Or, what's your reasoning behind it? At least give us gamers some kind of an idea as to why it's being done. Why the sudden change? When something has worked for Blizzard for all these years, and now all of a sudden you want to change it like that, I have to question Blizzard's motives on that. But do I think it's a bad idea? Yes. Do I think it's gonna hurt the gaming industry? No, I don't think so. So, anyways, with that being said, we are now almost 50 minutes into the stream. So I would like to thank everybody for showing up. Thank you for watching the stream. And as a small token, all I ask is please hit the like and subscribe button, and make sure you hit the bell notification icon. And when you hit the bell notification icon, here's a tip. Make sure that you click the very top one to receive all notifications. A lot of people just click on the middle one and they won't receive all the notifications. So that's a small tip. So remember, when you click on the bell, make sure you click on the top one, which is all notifications. And that way you are sure to get notifications on the latest and newest streams from your friends and stuff and whatnot. So that's a small tip. Anyways, guys, let's see what else is in the technology news. Oh, the Wi-Fi 6 routers, or what they're called, the tri-bandwidth. I would hold off on those. I'm not seeing a lot of huge difference with the Wi-Fi 6 tri-band. Now, I'm not talking about the 2.4G or the 5G tri-band. I'm talking about the Wi-Fi 6 tri-band. It's not any faster than the 2.4 or the 5 gigahertz tri-band. However, you are going to see a huge difference with the tri-band 2.4 5 gigahertz routers, because basically that's like a backup. Basically, you're like on a double 5G network. So think of it as like a piggyback. It's always something to bounce back on. If it can't find the first group of 5G pool, it's going to go to the second tri-band pool. So I heard a lot of good things about it. So if you're out to buy yourself a new router, check out the tri-band routers. Just the normal standard AC routers for the new AC technology. I wouldn't jump the gun on the Wi-Fi 6 just yet, because when you get into the Wi-Fi 6, you're going to have to restructure your entire LAN home network. So that's something that if you're not willing to invest in, there are many other things that you can invest in, like mesh routers. Mesh routers work really good with tri-band, so I would rather spend the money on that than on a Wi-Fi 6. So just a heads up. Just a heads up, people. So, I mean, you do what you want. I mean, it's up to you. I'm just saying, if you're going to spend the money on the mesh you can't go wrong with the mesh network and having a tri-band router connected to your mesh. It's just, you're going to see a huge performance for your Wi-Fi. Of course, you're always better off to use Ethernet, for stuff. But if you're looking to do Wi-Fi, get yourself a mesh with a tri-band router, and you can have pretty good, decent performance nonetheless. So, let's see, what else is in the news? I updated one of my desktops to the new Windows 10 update, the 2H. I forget what it was. It's the latest, newest one. Haven't had any problems with it, actually. It's actually working out very well. It's actually, I think it is the best update I have seen to date. I'm testing it on one of my PCs, and I actually like it, and I'm considering doing it to my other PCs. So, to my friends out there that think that I hate Microsoft, I don't. I don't hate Microsoft. I didn't like some of the updates, and I disagree with a lot of the things that they do. But hey, let's face it, it's their company, and they're going to protect their investment, and they're going to do whatever to, do what is best for Microsoft. So, to those that think that I hate Microsoft, I do not. To those making comments thinking that I hate Microsoft, I do not. To those that think I complain about Microsoft, I do not complain about it. These are my opinions, and my opinions only. And I will say that the new update for Windows 10, I'm quite happy with it. I haven't had any problems with it on one of my PCs. So I'm going to consider updating all my PCs, or when they update. Some of my PCs haven't got the update yet, because like most things, Microsoft kind of picks and chooses when they want to push the updates out. So, but as soon as they do, I will update to the newest. And I highly recommend that everybody else out there that gets the update. I think I forgot, it's a 2H one. It's the newest one. So I highly recommend that if you want to keep up with the security updates and whatnot, make sure you update to the newest Windows 10 update. It's gotten a lot better. Like I said, I've done a lot of thorough testing. One of my PCs has Windows 10 Professional, so I'm quite happy with it. So just a word of advice. All right, folks. I guess I'll end this stream. Thank you for joining my channel with all things tech, gaming, live streaming, talk show. I really appreciate you all being here. I hope that you take the information that I give, and I hope it helps you. If it helps you, then I know I've done my job. And stay safe out there. I hope you guys had a wonderful Easter. And those of you that haven't, happy belated Easter. And I hope that you have a good rest of your night. And take care of yourselves. And be good to each other, okay, guys? Take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye.